So, I'm back with our DVD Blu-ray update, and I bought a lot of crap over the last week. Let's just say I went from having about $100, not 100, probably about $50 or $60 in my wallet to having zero. Most of this is made up of stuff that I ordered off of Amazon, and it took it about a week to arrive. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and start with the stuff I got off Amazon. So, yeah. Alright, the stuff I got off Amazon. Alexandra Aja's Piranha. This one got a lot of hate. I don't know. I bought it because it was on my list of movies I wanted to buy eventually, and it was only $3, and I needed like another like $2 to get free shipping on Amazon. So I was like, you know what, screw it, I'll just get Piranha. Not much to say about this film, honestly. I'm gonna probably rewatch it tonight. I remember liking it a lot when it came out, but when it came out I was also really young and kind of juvenile. But I feel like I'm still gonna enjoy it because I still enjoy really, you know, stupid, you know, like horror comedies and stuff like that. Next is the legendary Night of the Living Dead. This is a color and black and white version of it. And, you know, I know someone's probably going to ask me, well, why do you have this? You probably own it. And I do. I own it on a bunch of those, like, you know, 50 movie public domain sets that I have. On, like, every single one of those, like, 10 movie sets, Night of the Living Dead is on it. But I didn't have it as a single solitary movie. And I figured since I was buying another film related to this on Amazon around the same time, I figured it'd be good to go with Dawn of the Dead and Land of the Dead, because it seemed kind of weird just having those two and not the other entries in the Dead series. This is something else that arrived today, which this is the only one that I really expected to arrive today, but actually the rest of the movies arrived today. The last like 4 arrived today when I only expected 1 of the last 5 to arrive. But it's Ebola Syndrome. I got Ebola Syndrome for $10. Worth every penny. Now, I'm still looking for more of Herman Hughes, or whatever the last, his movies. I'm still looking for the director of this. I'm still looking for some of his movies. I think it's Herman Yao. It's Herman Yao. I'm still looking for some of his movies, more specifically The Untold Story, which is probably my favorite from him so far. But Ebola Syndrome is a very close second. I really enjoy Ebola Syndrome. It's really, really, you know, gross and bad. And this is actually like the most uncut version that's available. And it also has audio commentary from the director and star of the film, which that'd be really interesting. Well, what's to say about this? I hope that they release The Untold Story on DVD sometime soon, because we need it. Next is the one that I expect to arrive tomorrow. It's one of those blue underground ones, which they put out like the original Maniac and Suspiria and Opera. So that obviously whoever owns that company, I think the guy that owns the company is actually the director of the original Maniac. But this is one of their like midnight movie double features, and this is Contamination and The Shape of Things to Come. I've never seen either of these movies. This was a complete blind buy for like $5, and I know about Contamination. Contamination is like an infamous video nasty that's like one of those Italian rip-offs of Alien, much like Alien 2 on Earth, where it's like about eggs that make people explode. Nothing hatches out of them, they just make people explode for some reason. I don't know. But I figured I wanted to check out Contamination. I was just gonna buy the single DVD, but the single DVD was the same price as this double set, and I figured I might as well get The Shape of Things to Come, which apparently is considered to be a pretty bad movie, so I might like that one. Alright, and the other thing that made me buy the Night of the Living Dead is Day of the Dead. I didn't want to have, you know, I wanted to have the complete Of the Dead series, or at least up until Land of the Dead, the most recent one I've seen. I mean, yeah, I definitely think the Day of the Dead has grown on me quite a bit. I mean, when I first watched it, I wasn't too impressed. I still think Dawn of the Dead is the best of the series, but Day of the Dead is still, like, I wouldn't say it's the worst of the series. I'd definitely say it's about even with Land of the Dead, honestly. But, yeah, I'm gonna have to rewatch this whole thing in order for me to really give a solid opinion on it. And the last thing I bought off Amazon, another one of those double packs, which this one I was really happy to get because it contains one of my, like, probably my second favorite Italian zombie movie, and just and another movie that's just like a really fun, like, Italian ripoff of Dawn of the Dead. It's the Midnight Movie Zombie double feature from Blue Underground. That's Nightmare City and Hell of the Living Dead. I reviewed Hell of the Living Dead like a few months ago, and I said I enjoyed it quite a bit. Nightmare City I reviewed like a year ago, and I remember liking it a lot and saying it was probably one of my favorite Italian zombie movies, and then the next day I watched Zombie Holocaust and I was completely sold. Sadly, I couldn't buy Zombie Holocaust because the Blu-ray of it was like 30 bucks, and I wanted the Blu-ray DVD of it, even though I'm not a big fan of Blu-ray, because I know the DVD version of it that is available for like 15 bucks, I think. It's from like 2002, and I don't want it to be like, you know, a very small picture on a widescreen TV, or like it'd be a full screen picture on a widescreen TV. Those things really annoy me, and I don't want to do that. But yeah, I'm gonna have to rewatch Nightmare City, because there's actually a remake of Nightmare City in the works, directed by Tom Savini, the guy who did the special effects and Dawn of the Dead and Friday the 13th and The Burning. So yeah, we know it's probably in good hands. Next we have this thing I picked up like just yesterday for like $2 from Half Price Books. It's the Apocalypse Now Complete Dossier. I recently watched the original theatrical cut of Apocalypse Now on Netflix, and I thought it was really good. And I definitely think it's one of the best Vietnam War movies. I still think Full Metal Jacket is better, but I still really like Apocalypse Now, and I figured I'd buy a copy of it eventually, but I didn't know which copy to buy because I only watched the theatrical cut from '79, and I didn't watch like the 3-hour-long Redux from 2001. And I saw this set at Half Price Books for $2, and it said the Complete Dossier, so I thought it just had like the Redux or whatever. And I'm like, well, it's $2. It's like a special edition, and it comes with this really kind of cool packaging, which I really dig this kind of packaging. So I figured why not, and upon watching it, it does have both the theatrical cut and the Redux. So I watched the Redux like last night, and it was really good. Next we get on to a couple things I got from Family Video. I got both of these for like $3. First up, Cabin Fever Patient Zero, the third Cabin Fever movie. I'll go ahead and say it. I thought this was actually pretty decent compared to the first sequel, even though I kind of like the first sequel. But the director of the first sequel has even come out and said he didn't like the first sequel at all. So even the director's like, no, I don't want anything to do with this movie. But I don't know, this one's got a lot of hate, and I thought it was pretty decent, although it's very flawed and stupid. But I liked it. And another body horror flick. Brandon Cronenberg's first movie, actually, Antiviral. Now, if this looks like it's some kind of bootleg, well, that's because this is from Family Video, and they probably didn't have a case for it, because this is a legit, like, disc, but the slip cover on it is like a photocopy, and it doesn't fit very well, but it's still a copy. I haven't tested it to see if it works yet, but I'm sure it works, because Family Video, they usually do a pretty good job with selling used DVDs. If you saw my review of Antiviral, you know I really liked it. And, yeah, this is Antiviral, which I got for $1.50. Next, we got two things I picked up at Target, which on a whim, because I had gotten like 25 bucks that day, and I immediately went into Target and spent it all. I got the American Werewolf in London Steelbook Blu-ray, which, other than the fact that it comes in the Steelbook, like, casing, it's the same Blu-ray from the Full Moon edition of it, so it's not really a change, it's just a change of packaging. But I figured since I didn't have it, and since I'd only watched it once, I figured I would pick it up and watch it again, because I really liked it the first time around. And it's a special edition steelbook. It's like a collector thing. The other thing I picked up, which I'm really happy I picked it up, is Starry Eyes. I can't really show the thing because it's dark, because it has the reverse sleeve thing that Dark Sky Films likes to do, which I really dig that they like to do that. It gives you options, because I don't like the DVD cover art of this movie very much, but Starry Eyes was one of those movies from last year that was really good, along with like The Babadook and It Follows. Even though It Follows came out this year, it was probably made last year. What to say about this? It was really creepy, it's violent, it's like kind of a combination of like David Cronenberg like body horror and David Lynch psychological horror. It's really well put together and really well acted, and it's one of the better gems from last year. And I honestly think it's better than It Follows, and I almost want to say it's kind of on par with The Babadook, but The Babadook actually was a really tension-filled film. Okay, next we got a bunch of these things I got for $1 from like a closing like video, well, not closing video store, but one of the video / game store. 9 Dead Gay Guys is like an old copy from Blockbuster, and I watched it and it works. Yeah, it's like a dark comedy about, it's like a dark comedy gay murder mystery movie, and it's actually really funny. Really well written. The acting is good. It is very lowbrow and kind of like cheeky, lewd humor, but I still really liked it for what it was. The Tears of Kali, which again, this is from that store. This is what I reviewed just a few days ago, and I thought it was kind of okay. But yeah, I mean, I guess it was worth the $1 I paid. The Jungle. Again, this is another one of those ones I just grabbed because I had heard about it before and it was only $1. The Jungle isn't that good at all. I mean, I'll give it this. The director does know how to make a horror movie with a slow burn. It's just that he doesn't properly know how to build tension or make the characters likable enough to make, you know, the ending of the slow burn really work, like in the Conspiracy, or The Conspiracy, or probably the Audition. Next we have a zombie movie from Joe Dante, director of The Howling and Gremlins. It's his episode from Masters of Horror Homecoming, which I watched this last night and I wasn't really wowed by it. It's kind of just like one of those horror movies that's trying to convey a message, but the message really kind of ruins the entire thing. But again, I only paid $1 for it, so I'm not gonna complain too much. And The Matrix, probably one of the most overrated movies ever made. While I say that, I don't think it's a terrible movie. I do think it's good. I do think it's well made. I mean, it's definitely well made. I'll say it's definitely one of the you know, most well-made kind of science fiction films ever. It's just, I don't think it's one of the best science fiction films ever. Like, you compare like how well-made this is to how well-made Star Wars is. Star Wars is terrible compared to this. But story and like the content-wise and stuff, Star Wars is far superior. And I'm not saying the two films are comparable. They're only comparable in the fact that they're both science fiction films. But I mean, I still like the film, but it's not as good as David Cronenberg's Existenz, which I honestly think is far better and didn't get enough, you know, positive, like, reviews when it originally came out. And finally, we are on to the last few. I picked up Street Trash from Buybacks for $10. I went in there about a month ago and I saw they had this for $10, and I'm like, you know what, I'll wait. And I did that thing like I did with The Catcher, and I said, I'll wait, I'll come back in a while, and if it's still here, I'll buy it. And it was still there, so I decided to buy it. Yeah, what's there to say about Street Trash? It's a movie about bums melting from out-of-date alcohol. It's there's really not much to it. The only thing I'm sad about is that here on the back it says create your own bottle of Tenafly Viper, label, stickers enclosed. So basically you could have, they have the Tenafly Viper like label as a sticker to put on like liquor bottles and stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and I immediately opened it and I remember this is a used DVD. Someone probably used them, and yeah, they're not in here, so I'm kind of sad that the stickers weren't in there, but again, $10 worth it. Children of the Corn 3 Urban Harvest. I really like this one, although it gets a lot of flack. I think it's pretty underrated, but yeah, it's just a pretty decent movie. Another one which I reviewed, Drive Through, the one about the serial killer fast food mascot, which I remember watching this and thinking it was kind of funny and entertaining, which it was only $4 and I figured I'd pick it up because you know, I remember liking it quite a bit, and upon watching it I realized that yeah, it's still a pretty entertaining movie. This is another one of those ones where I'd seen it there before. I didn't say I was going to buy it next time I come around, but I figured I would since I had recently watched Requiem for a Dream. But this is Requiem for a Dream and Pi, both two Darren Aronofsky films. I got this for $4. I was just going to buy a copy of Requiem for a Dream, but Requiem for a Dream there was like $7, and I was like, okay, well I can pay $7 for one movie, or I can pay $4 for one great movie that I liked and one movie that I've heard is really good. So I got both of these, and yeah. And last but most certainly not least, Maniac, the remake of Maniac. I'm so happy to finally pick this one up. This is another one of those ones where I saw it there, I decided I would pick it up if it was there, still there when I came back, and it was still there, so I decided to buy it. It was like $8, and again, this is another one of those ones where I'm glad they gave a reverse wrap, because I did like the DVD art for this movie, but upon looking at the reverse wrap, which is literally just like the naked mannequin with a bloody scalp and like a bride's veil on it, I immediately thought that was far superior cover because it just left a lot to the imagination. Yeah, this is really it.